I think COVID-19 has put a lot more of the weight of the challenges that this country faces on each of us. And I think if you're not feeling that, you're not looking around at what this country's going through.
Do your kids understand what you do for a living?
Oh, hell yeah. These children are, let me just tell you, the kinds of things that happen at dinner, it's a reality TV show waiting to happen. So, people are like, my son the other day said, "Mom, you're just a neoliberal." I was like, oh my
Wait, your son
God.
called you a neoliberal?
Yes, he's a teenager, so this is going to happen. He wouldn't get in the car the other day because he's not going to contribute to global warming. Then I was like, well, how would you get there, Luke? Right? So it's constant. My daughter this morning was like, "Mom, your bangs look weird." They're very, like, I hope you're not going to be on TV. My middle son, when we had the presidential going on, my middle son was a huge Kamala fan. He's like, "She is my senator. I'm a Californian. Like, I support her." My youngest daughter's named Elizabeth, so she was a big Warren fan. My older son whipped through a few people, Beto and somebody else, before landing with Bernie. So I was like living the dream, like every day, every night. My son put a sign on his door that said, "Do not enter if you don't support the Green New Deal." These children they're living it.
Wow, you looks like you have some future politicians in training.
I definitely have like 3 very challenging constituents that I am dealing with every single day.
So if you went over your house, you know that you're pretty good in terms of reelection. If you could win over your house.
They're putting me through the ringer. People are like, "Oh, you haven't had any town halls lately." I'm like, well, I do a lot of virtual town halls, but I'm having an in-person town hall every night at the dinner table.
So, given how good you are at questioning people and hearing, can your kids even get away with anything with you? And the fact that you just not about the bullshit. Like, do your kids get away with anything?
Oh, they definitely try. I think something my mom said to me that was really helpful, because I'm one of 3, and we were very, I think, challenging. I think we were good students. We liked to learn. We didn't get in a lot of trouble, but I think we were bright and we pushed our parents. But one of the things my mom said is, I didn't win all the time with you guys, but I was always in the fray. Like, I didn't let you walk all over me. And so, I think what's hard with 3 kids, and particularly with having this kind of job and being a single parent, is it's just not, there's not enough of me to meet the kind of demand. And so, each of my children, I want to give individual time to, especially with work from home, and trying to, do everything virtually and juggle. And, so the other night, I told my son, he said, I said, "Luke, you have a math quiz tomorrow." And he said, "Yeah, I don't understand any of that." And it was like 4:00. And I was like, well, I can help you, or I can see if your tutor's available. And he said, "Call the tutor." So the tutor's not available. So I said, "Luke, I taught 8th grade math. Like, I'm pretty sure I can handle the first couple weeks of 9th grade math." And he's like, "I don't think you can." And I was like, "I can." But by the time I got ready to help him, after I had done 2 loads of laundry and cooked dinner and picked up and dealt with my other kids, he's like, "Mom, I'm too tired. You missed your chance." So I think there's a lot of that with my constituents too, just wanting to be more places that I can actually be, wanting to hear more conversations than any one person can hear. And so it is cumulative. Like, the longer you do this, the more you learn about your community. And that's probably the most rewarding part about being an elected official. I think people think the job is all bad because they see so much of the bad parts in the news, but there are 2 true joys of doing this job for me. One is I get to learn about every issue that this country faces, every single one. Ones that I've spent my whole career thinking about, like access to credit for low-income communities, and ones that I hadn't thought about until I got elected to Congress, like what's happening to the Uyghurs in China. So I love that. I get to learn all the time. And I have amazing staffers and people in the community who teach me. And then the second thing is, and this is something Elizabeth Warren told me when I told her I was was interested in running for office after the 2016 election. She said, every day you will see something differently in your community than you did before. there's a building that you've driven by 100 times and now you're going to tour it. There's a group in your community that is part of it, but you really haven't been in conversation with them. And so that is such a pleasure to get to connect with so many different pockets of your community. And I think a lot of us, for reasons of isolation, of being busy, of segregation, all kinds of both structural and personal reasons, don't get that opportunity. And for me, it's something I really treasure.
This happens to me on a regular basis, and because you're in the thick of it, I'm curious to your perspective as to how you don't do this. I wake up some days and I look at everything that's happening in the news and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I literally, I'm in a level of frustration before like 8:30 a.m. How is it that you maintain this incredible sense of optimism and belief in our systems when at times they seem to be failing so badly?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone has their moments, and I think COVID-19 has put a lot more of the weight of the challenges that this country faces on each of us. And I think if you're not feeling that, you're not looking around at what this country's going through. But I think part of it is, look, I by running for office, I put myself in a position where I can take action. So I might wake up, look at the news and be like, oh, like today I was looking at the pyrotechnic gender reveal parties that started these wildfires. And I was like, I just can't, I have no words. Right.
Right.
But then I realized I got to get going. Like, I have things I have to do today. I have, voters I have to engage. I have conversations I have to have with candidates who are trying to run and win around the country. And so I think that is really important. The other thing is, I mean, I was a teacher, and so I really believe that people can learn, and in that learning, they can learn in part how to change the world in the direction that they want to. And that's why people go to law school. I mean, sure, there are people who go to law school because they can't figure out what else to do, or they can't, their dream of being a pro golfer failed, or whatever it is. But most people who go to law school want to do something positive to help the world. And so, I think about that a lot, that's what a lot of my constituents want, but they don't know how, and they feel, and they are, and I think this is such an important point, they are actively thwarted by things like corporate special interests from making change. And so I think people often don't realize the degree to which the entire narrative around some of the problems in this country is being shaped, and then people are led to believe intentionally that they can't change things, but they can, right? But that's something that I think is really, really important, that came out of the 2018 presidential primary, is a number of candidates, and I think women were particularly skilled at doing this, at helping people see, no, you can change this. No, you can fight back. And I think that women are better at that, in part because we've had so many doors closed on us. We have been told so many times that we can't, or held to a different standard. And so I think there's more grit there, frankly. And I think that women dig into that to find that sense that if I can't change it this way, I'm going to try this way. I'm not going to give up.